Hi, John.
Hello, Alex.
Do you know what I hate?
What do you hate?
Travis Walton.
Travis Walton? Why do you hate Travis Walton?
Because I think he's responsible for, like, a lot of the creepy, weird alien visuals that ended up in this movie.
Oh. Also, who is Travis Walton?
Fire in the Sky.
Oh.
You know, that famous abductee.
Oh.
Possibly from Oregon, maybe Washington. Oh, anyway, we watched, what's the hell's the name of this movie? No One Will Save You.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's get into this. I managed to avoid every spoiler. I thought this was a horror movie. I mean, I guess it is a horror movie, but like I didn't realize it was like kind of sci-fi horror. I don't know if it counts as sci-fi, but you know what I'm saying? Like I thought this was going to be like creepy haunted house times, and it's more creepy Zeta Reticuli times.
Mm-hmm. What does that word mean?
Zeta Reticuli is a star system where, in real life, it's a star system, but weirdo idiots that I like to listen to think that's where the reptilian race comes from.
Oh.
Or maybe that's where the Greys come from. One of the bad guy aliens come from Zeta Reticuli. I forget which one.
Yeah, no, it's an alien thing, and I mean, obviously this is going to be full of spoilers. I highly recommend you see this movie before listening to us talk about it.
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah.
But I will say, right, so I'm going to start spoiling now, but I love how the aliens are just like Greys. Gave them some funk, zhuzhed them up a bit, but they're Greys. And I think that's great.
Yes. There's one more thing that you probably aren't as educated enough to pick up on.
Sure, let's use that word.
I'll help you. There's also a race of aliens in Alien Weirdo Theory called the Mantids, which are kind of like mantids, like mantises. Mm-hmm. Which you'll notice that the big guy aliens, the big boy, is kind of mantisy. So what I'm saying is the person that made this movie, or wrote it at least, fucking nerd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So I should probably like be friends with them.
Yeah. Well, it's also that this movie is largely silent. There's almost no dialogue.
There's 5 words spoken in the whole movie according to IMDb.
Yeah. Like, and it's pretty impressive. And I guess the script for such, like someone leaked some of the script, and it is written in this very House of Leaves style where one of the pages just has like the word trapped written a whole bunch of times, but like the main body of the text is like within those words, like highlighted and whatever. So everyone else is like, well, good luck, Hollywood script readers for getting the most annoying scripts from here on out, because people are going to try to do it. But at the same time, that's a cool way to do it, because otherwise it's just going to be, the way scripts are written. Was it just going to be action after action, paragraph of just, and then she runs, and then she runs over here, and then she runs over there. Because that's, largely what the movie is just her doing stuff. And it's great. I enjoy watching it.
Here's what I don't like, and this is not a detraction from the movie. This is a detraction from real life people. Is I have like a bit of an annoyance at people that like are like that twee thing where I only like stuff from the past. Mm-hmm. So I've got a rotary phone and I only listen to vinyl records.
Cottagecore, yeah.
Yeah, just shut up. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's fine. Whatever. Live your life. I just find it irritating.
Well, I will say this though, like, because it for a moment. Because I'm like, well, when does this take place? Because it kind of seems a little bit out of time in that regard. Compared to movies like, say, Megan, and I know this was sort of the point, to show more of Williams, Allison Williams.
Oh, I have no idea. Yeah,
Allison Williams. Yeah,
good job.
I realize I'm asking the wrong person. But like to show like Allison Williams, like not kid-friendly lifestyle. But I feel like so many homes and movies now are not homey in any capacity. They just seem cold and sterile to me because that's the style. But so having someone that has this very sort of more like homey aesthetic, I think adds to the horror of that area being invaded.
Yeah. I did really like her house a lot, mm-hmm. other than the what do you call it? Cottagecore? Mm-hmm. Other than that stuff, I really liked her house. Like, I would like to live there, but it begs the question. How the fuck's she affording that?
Well, I think that is dead parents is my guess.
Yeah, but I mean, you still got to pay property taxes and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, she has like a drop shipping business, apparently. That's what you see her doing at the beginning, is selling stuff and selling it.
Oh, you know what? I don't think I really put that together because I'm still trying to figure out what this movie was. I don't think I really did.
But yeah, so we're introduced to the main character, Bryn, played by Caitlin Dever, who I really, really like as an actress. I think a lot of people got to know her through Booksmart, which is a movie I was overall pretty lukewarm on, but I really liked her in it. And I think this thing rests entirely on her, and I think she handles it very, very well.
Yes, I think she does a great job, except for one exception, and it's the tiniest thing in the world, but I have to point it out.
What is it about her teeth?
It is the fakest yawn that's ever happened in movie history.
Oh, I don't even
She has a
remember.
very bad fake yawn, just somewhere in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's when she wakes up with it's when the first alien shows up. She hears the cans and she thinks it's a raccoon. And she like kind of goes like, yawn! It's like a 5-year-old pretending that they would.
That's like, I mean, I get that it's like a miniature thing. Like, I don't think I mentioned in the episode, but there's a bit in one of the Ahsokas that we watched where, short hair, Sabine or whatever, like, quote unquote, drinks from a cup. And it was clearly like there's nothing in that cup.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know why, but that just made me so mad.
No, that bothers me. Anytime someone lifts a cup and you can tell the physics of it, that's like, no, that's an empty cup.
Yeah.
That's like, no, fuck you. That is empty.
Yeah.
Just put some water in there. Let's keep the realism. I need my space wizards to be real.
Yes, thank you. I very much like the way that this movie doles out information. I think because you can't have people talking, the way you learn about this character and their history and how that sort of spread out over it. It makes for very interesting stuff because she's going into town at the beginning to ship some stuff and like she like hides her face from some people. She waves at a guy who doesn't want anything to do with her. What's that about? And then later, like when she's dancing in her house alone and like the phone rings and she just picks it up and you hear someone start to yell at her and she just hangs it up again without even like listening to it. Like she was expecting it.
I feel like that was where she really won me over because I'm like, yeah, I get you. Like, I don't like this twee rotary phone shit, but I do like the fact you didn't even think about it. You just hung up on that ass.
Yeah, you're just living your own life.
When she goes into the town, we start to get the first inklings of her what happened in her past, the horrors of her past and her dead best friend. And she visits like a graveyard, or at least goes by the graveyard. Mm-hmm. And I had the most I'm stoned at 17 moment, even though I was completely sober watching this, of graveyard is an incredibly silly word if you think about it.
Okay.
Just great. It's like, oh yeah, the corpse lawn. Like it's graveyard. It's so fucking silly.
Thanks, Gallagher. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was like, man, I wish I was high right now because I would have an excuse for my brain thinking this. But audience at home, you're allowed to enjoy my thoughts.
Yeah, no, you're smart if you are laughing. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like there's like a couple she runs into that she's like hiding from. One of them's a cop. You're trying to figure out what's going on there. Yeah, and I just like it because I don't know. It's all very light too. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. I feel like the stuff in this movie could be a lot more heavy-handed in terms of like the common theme of like dealing with trauma and stuff like that. But I like the way that I think this movie handles that rather deftly.
Absolutely. Like, especially, I mean, I guess out of order, we find out that the cop and the old lady are the mother of her dead best friend. But one of the things I think this movie does a good job with is they're a loving couple.
Yeah.
Like they show themselves kissing and like having a nice day.
Yeah.
It's 10 years later and every single second they're grief stricken and everything's awful. It's like, no, obviously they're probably still very upset their daughter died, but like they're not, it's just like that thing where when you write a character that the entire character, like those entire characters should be, could be, dead daughter parents.
Right.
But like, no, they like have a life.
Right.
Like he's got a job. Maybe she's got a job. I don't know. Maybe she's retired, but they're kissing. They're having fun. Like I don't know. There's little moments of that. Like the other little moment I enjoyed that kind of gave what little character we have in this more characters when we meet the mailman. We just see him through the bushes, but he does like a turnaround jump shot with a box.
Yeah.
And like, it was like, we didn't need to do that, but that like really fleshed out a world to me a little bit.
Well, it also makes you wonder, is it just that this mailman is a dickweed, or is it because it's a package for her? And he's like, fuck you, don't care. What are you going to do about it?
Upon later thinking, when I realized like what the thing is about her, I think it is a fuck you,
Yeah.
Because, what are you going to do? Complain to everybody in town that really likes you and is going to listen?
Yeah, and there's stuff on the second watch that I definitely picked up a lot more of in that regard. And again, and I think that this movie handles that really well because it's fun in that way. It's not something like you can notice, like when she's on the bus later and you can see the mailman in the back, like you can see him when she gets on there and you're like, oh, there he is, and it's kind of like in Usual Suspects when you can kind of like recognize some stuff that's like, oh yeah, that's when he said that was on the board. I like the mailman a lot because he's like the only other guy that you see a whole bunch. I mean, some you see a couple of times, but the mailman features rather prominently.
I mean, that's pretty speciest of you. I mean, because we see that alien a whole bunch. What, he doesn't count?
Well, no, he's not real. He's not a real person.
Why is it not real?
Well, because he was made with computers.
Oh, yeah. That also makes me realize that IMDb person is like very Anglo-centric because they're like only 5 words are spoken. Oh, yeah, what, chittering?
Yeah.
Doesn't count? Fuck you.
Yeah, dolphins just angrily writing comments.
Yeah, sliding up onto the... Yeah, fuck it.
All right.
I was trying to remember that there's a dolphin researcher that basically gave dolphins acid, then his research assistant jerked the dolphin off.
Yeah, and like his home was like
John
flooded.
Lilly or something.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it is.
Is
John
that the name?
Lilly.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't come up with it. I'm like, it would have been funny, but I needed to do it quickly, and I couldn't get that name. I think it's John Lilly.
I think that's the John Lilly dolphin experiment.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe in another life I'll hilariously come up with that quickly.
No one will save you. I'm sorry. But basically, yeah, so she does this, and that night when she's home, something happens. Bum, bum, bum. Someone gets into her house.
Yeah. And there's another thing I was hesitant about when it first happened, but it ended up winning me over quickly, is I was kind of bummed how quickly they show the alien. Because you see, like, out of the window, they're like, oh, this could be a raccoon. Then you see it's, like, maybe a shape, and you're like, oh, that's kind of freaky. And then you, like, see the alien, like, full out, the whole fucking thing. And you're like, oh, weird. What an odd way to choose to do it. But then, like, as the movie progresses and the story unfolds, or like the understanding of what's going on unfolds, I think that's a really good choice of like getting us used to them in a certain way. We're still terrified, but then by the end, you're like, oh, we're kind of used to these guys. They're like, oh, little cuties.
Yeah, they change stuff, and they managed to keep escalating it. Like it reminded me in that way a little bit of Fury Road, where it's like, Fury Road is just them driving one way and back, but they managed to keep escalating who they're fighting against, even though it's the same group of people. Yeah. And it's like the aliens just keep getting a little bit different, or like the things she has to deal with keep getting a little bit different. That first one, you mainly see like as in more like blurred out at first. You don't get a full view of it right away. And in fact, I'm not sure if it's here, if it's a little bit later, where they totally do the whole communion Whitley Schreiber thing, where it's just you just see like the half of the face behind the door.
Yeah, I don't remember I remember that scene. I don't remember when that happened. Yeah.
But so she sees that thing and it is trying to escape and ends up making noise and it's following her. She hides under a bed, and this, I got so excited by this. I didn't know this was possible. But it climbs over the bed looking for her. She's just under there trying not to make noise. And you just see from her point of view, the alien's feet hit the ground. And then it gets up on its tiptoes. And it looks like it's like toes are like fingers. And it just was so creepy. But I loved it.
It is terrific. I love their design. Because they are basically grays, but like they've got enough weirdness to them.
Yeah.
But I need to bring up a point here. Mm-hmm. How can you live in a house where your bedroom door can't lock? That shit needs to be locked for me to go to bed. That's impossible. What kind of person with anxiety can possibly think, oh yeah, I'll just live in this house by myself in the middle of nowhere. I'm a tiny woman by myself, no guns or anything, and no lock on my bedroom door. Fuck you.
My bedroom door doesn't lock.
Yes, but you live with someone.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but when they're not here, it still doesn't lock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't have a lock in your bedroom door?
And I generally sleep with it open.
God, you're a monster.
The rest
you're
of my house is locked. It's fine.
Ugh. No, that's terrible.
Yeah.
The other thing I realized that after that first night, I would buy every gun available. Mm-hmm. Like Glock 7, I'm taking 6 of those. The kindergarten carer, I'll take 7 of those. The school shooter 5000.
But thanks to the damn liberals, you got to get on a waiting list. I don't think there's a Walmart in her small town where you can just go in and get
Louisiana. I'm pretty sure they just hand out guns.
Well,
there.
Later we found out it was like looking up on IMDb. We found it was Louisiana. The movie doesn't tell you where it is.
Yeah, I don't know. She's in a small town. I'm pretty sure she can get guns.
Right. Or you just look to see if any of your neighbors got and get one of their guns, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, she really should have done more looting.
Yeah. Should have gone on some looting missions. Yeah. So and she ends up, because this is all in the first night, right, where she ends up killing the thing.
Yeah, which I love the way that gets revealed of him, like the alien being like telepathically pulling her across the room, and she grabs like a like a steeple with a bell on it from her little Beetlejuice fake
Yeah, I was
town
gonna
that she's
say
got
just
there,
like Beetlejuice. Yeah.
and just slams that fucker to the side of his head. Like, oh shit! Like that was again this movie doing a lot of things I wasn't expecting. I did not think the main threat would be killed
Right.
seconds into the movie.
Yeah, just pretty early on, and then she's pretty freaked out by it, understandably, and then for reasons that we find out later as well. Goes into town to try to talk to someone. She can't. Her car won't work because all her electricity is going crazy.
Well, wait. Keep that thought because there's one important thing that happens before she goes to town. She decides to take off all of her clothes and shower.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dead alien downstairs. No human has ever thought, I'm feeling horrifically anxious, scared, and vulnerable. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to disrobe and shower. Fuck that.
I mean, it's dead.
Or do you do that too?
Yeah, well, I have not
bedroom?
killed a lot of aliens in my time.
Yeah.
Just in Halo.
And Texas.
But I'm Craig Abbott. No, but yeah, I didn't really think twice about it because I'd be like, yeah, I'd probably feel pretty gross, covered in sweat and blood. Who knows what that alien he's got space germs. Get that off there.
Maybe take a shit. It's the idea of like, oh, I'm terribly afraid. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to expose my genitals. Like just maybe leave your dress on or something. That's fine. It's just
I don't know. I mean, she's been sitting next to it for like, quite a long amount of time, at least 6 hours, let's say.
Yeah.
Her headspace is pretty goofy right now.
Yeah, still, I'm not a fan. It's just, ugh.
But she goes into town and rides her bike, gets enough gumption to go to the cops. And when she walks in, who's there but that couple she was hiding from the beginning? And we're introduced to the fact that those are her dead friend Maud's parents. They're not happy to see her, and the mom spits in her face. And I like, and again, like in that moment, like the close up is on her, and you see the dad's face like out of focus, like wanting to help, but like also being disgusted. There's like a lot of little stuff happening with that guy in the background, and like you said, it could be an easy thing to just have him be like, "Yeah, I hate you too," but they actually bother to give him some character.
Yeah, they do a good job with that. And good on the character or the actress, but like. Man, that's a long time to just have like a loogie sitting on your face. Mm-hmm. Like I was just like how uncomfortable. I mean, I guess you just had like dead alien spooge on you. Like I guess human spit probably is not that bad at this point.
Well, I was thinking about like how is that done? Do you have like is it like a little straw that blows a little thing of water on your face, or some kind of gelatin or something, or is there just a grip standing off stage just to take two, hit her, Larry?
Yeah, maybe it's just spit on her face. Whatever. They're actors. They can handle it.
Fair enough.
There's a weird spot here. I mean, maybe it's not purposeful, but like she leaves the police station and sits down in front of this big mural of a lady with red hair, which presumably that's her friend.
I never really thought about it. Yeah, I guess it could be. I just thought
I think they show her with red hair later.
Yeah, I just thought it was like this looks cool, so let's have her sit there.
Well, that's probably exactly what it is. But I just noticed that the curls basically say 666 behind her, like the way that the hair curls, which didn't really go anywhere. So I was just, I don't know. I thought maybe this was going to go in some weird religious-y Southern Gothic thing, but yeah, there's just weird. I don't know. If you end up watching this after listening to the episode, pay attention. There's weird 666 imagery.
Okay. That sounds like a personal problem.
No, I mean, they
You're
made
dark-sided.
the movie, I mean, maybe they just found that mural and put it there. I mean, I was assuming they painted it, but
yeah, I mean, you could be very well right. I just didn't. I put no thought into it. I just went, hey, that looks neat.
Yeah, well, I'm glad one of us puts thought into their in-depth commentary.
Not me. I just look at the flashing lights.
Because all my notes it says 666, gun joke about killing students, dick joke, dick joke.
Secret messages the movie is sending to me.
Yeah.
But while she's sitting there, she gets the idea. She's like, oh, well, fuck this. I'm gonna leave town. I'm finally going to skip town, and like tries to buy a bus ticket. But on that bus, a couple of human possessed aliens. And this is where you get the first, again, like I love the reveal of the things in people's throats.
Yeah.
That just like wiggle around. The mailman ends up like sitting close behind her, and she's realizes that and gets up and he stops her. And you see like, and it's kind of out of focus, but you see this wiggly thing in his throat as he's clicking at her.
Yeah. It's really gross. It's great. On the throat note, and you're going to be surprised that I'm not going in the direction you're thinking of.
Well, yeah.
I do like when they show the aliens doing the click noise, you see the vibrations in their throat. Very cool little subtle detail. But let's have a question. Let's have a conversation about these aliens. Let's call the body the gray alien, right? The thing that's in her house. Is that body the alien, or is that weird sea urchin the alien? Like, is this a species of parasites that we're dealing with, or is this a species of grays that reproduce by spitting up the sea urchin thing?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I had the same thought. That's only why I say it's a good question.
Yeah, fair enough. I probably should have seen that coming.
But no, I don't know. My guess is that, like, because the fact that it, like, that one later, like, coughs it up at her makes me think it's a thing that they, like, put out, or maybe it's like a symbiotic relationship, you know, where they're like, yeah, we have these things, but, you know, they help us do some stuff and we help them do some stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's great either way. I don't need the answer.
No, exactly. Like, I like that. Like, I had a conversation with a friend of mine about the movie Phantasm, and he very much didn't like it because basically his hand wasn't held through it. And the movie has problems. I'll grant you that if you on a plot level. But, like, there's a certain amount of, like, just wonder about shit. It's fine.
Remind me what Phantasm is. Is that the one with the ball?
That's the one with the ball.
Yeah, I saw that in like the 80s or whatever.
Yeah. But, like, I don't, there's certain thing like this, and I don't mean to call out this person specifically, but just, like, I feel like there's a certain thread of, like, and this guy's not one of them, but a certain thread of, like, Reddit guys that are for lack of a better description, that are just like, I need every, like, why that doesn't make sense, why, where it's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense because you're dealing with aliens and it's fucking scary. Like, yeah. I don't know how any of their shit works, and that's great. Like,
James Strayer, shots fired.
No, it's not Jim. Oh my God, Jim introduced me to Phantasm.
Yeah, no, I thought it'd be funny to, like, pretend that you're calling shots on your other co-host.
But, like, I like the way they deal with stuff, rather than, like, you know, an alien comes down and has, like, a thing that looks like an iPhone. It's like, let me call my ship. Like, I have no idea how they're communicating with their ships or how they're doing any of this, like, what so much of the shit means, and that adds to it so much.
Yeah, I do like a not the thing that I don't like about unanswered questions is not in this movie. It's when things are presented in a way that are supposed to make sense, and then there's unanswered questions.
Sure.
That's when it bothers me. When it's presented as, like, yeah, you're not supposed to understand. Cool. Yeah, I'm on it. I'm on the ride.
Mystery versus confusion.
Yeah.
It's a,
like, if they said, like, oh, well, we've got electric powers in our throat. Well, then the question is, well, how did you move the couch?
Right.
But since they didn't bother to tell me about the electric powers, then it's all, I don't know, they just got weird shit. They just do weird shit.
Yeah. And then it's like, some of it is like, you recognize from other things. You're like, yeah, no, the power's going to go get weird because there's aliens. Like, that's been done a lot in other movies. Like, I mean, Close Encounters, for example, which I think this movie, like wears a lot of its influences on its sleeve, but not in this way that's like, see what we're doing here? You get what we're doing? You know that we know that this movie exists. It's just no, here it is. It's fun.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like that Tarantino thing of, like, yeah, I'm not hiding this. Like, I think these movies are cool, so I'm doing a cool thing like this movie.
Yeah, I wanted to do this, and it's fun, so why not?
You know, interesting thing about Close Encounters of the Third Kind, never seen that movie. Yeah.
We recorded it after we did our first old episode.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
I really should listen to our show.
It's not really worth it.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Before you move on, audience at home, youtube.com/@JawsPod is, I uploaded all of our episodes to the YouTube page if for some reason you like listening on YouTube. So go there, like, subscribe, smash bells or something, whatever those people say, do that. Because, I mean, I'm probably not going to update it at all, but, like, it's there. So if you want to go do that, do that.
Yeah. Check us out on the old YouTubes.
Yeah. We've got exactly one short up. So, I mean, basically, you know,
we're the next Mr. Beast. We're the next dead-eyed weirdo.
I don't even know which one it is. I had one on my phone, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to put this up as a test. I think it's actually called Test 1.
Hell yeah. That's marketing, baby. But yeah, so she's gets back into town. Yeah, so some townspeople are under the aliens' control. And then it's just her kind of trying to fortify her house. This is the second movie in a row we've watched where they put a couch in front of a doorway. Because they did it in Skinamarink too.
They did put a couch in front of a... Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot about that scene. Yeah.
But I like, more aliens come down, and, like, one of them is, like, a short, weird little guy. I like the way he looked with kind of the monkey arms. And then when he stops...
let's talk about the short, weird guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you. Weird arms, monkey, all the things you were saying. Great. Yeah. So when the original alien dies via Bell Chapel, which sounds like a neighborhood in London somewhere. Something crawls out of its mouth, which later we realize it's like the sea urchin thing. That little guy being all little, do you think that's like a baby that grew out of the sea urchin that crawled out of the first guy? Or that's just like a little guy?
I think that's just a little guy.
Okay. I was kind of, 50-50 on it.
It could be. I mean, there's no argument. I mean, the fact that he's like born and like ready to go makes me think he's a little guy. Like he's an action man.
Yeah, because there's like giant dudes too. So you assume by the thing of if there's giant dudes, there's probably little dudes.
Yeah. Because like it's also the fact that like the proportions are so different. Like it's a different squadron of long arm dudes.
Now here's the real question. So let's call them the Zeta Reticuli, the ones that are in this movie.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Do you think? Fine, the reptoids, the reptoids that are in this movie. Do you think those little guys starred in their own version of Tiptoes?
Yeah, actually, it's very popular on that planet.
Yeah.
Command performances throughout it.
The reptoid version of Peter Dinklage is like really putting in work.
Yeah, oh man. Well, no, if it was gonna be Tiptoes, it'd be like the only one of those guys would be Peter Dinklage. And then the rest would be the regular sized guys with like their shoes on their knees.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, exactly. The Mantis thing is doing the Dorf on golf style.
Yeah. I like those guys because like when she's fighting them in the second round, like she's in her basement and one of them's down there, and like the casualness with which it just does like the disarming her and like the psychic shit.
Oh yeah.
I love that. But then I'm also like, you stroll into someone's house nude, you generally have some confidence.
That's been my experience. That basement guy, that's the first time we see, or at least to me, there's the first time I understood them having curiosity about humans. Because you see him kind of like looking at shit, like, hey, check this out. There's like a pile of cloth over here or something, just doing like trying to understand the room. Because you start to see like the kind of, I don't want to say the humanity, but you start to see that these aren't like ants or something. These aren't like some hive mind dumb thing. It's actually like a sophisticated creature.
Or it's just that they're not just firebombing us from space, because just is this total eradication.
Because at that point, and I think it's timed perfectly, because again, this movie's very very well done. I started to have the question of like, why are they putting all these resources towards one person in the town? Like there's an entire part of the town that's unaffected when she first gets there. Like all the cops are still there. Everybody's looking at her. They could go steal them. But like when they start showing curiosity, it's like, oh, this actually kind of explains that. Like this isn't, a broad, let's just kill everything. It's like, oh, I'm interested in this human. Let's have her join our weird throat hedgehog community.
Yeah, like the director and writer Brian Duffield is described the aliens as explorers, like in interviews and stuff like that. At that point, I like the way just like, I don't know, you keep learning more about the aliens, which on top of already talking about like how on top of already updating their wiki feed to how great their feet are, I also like their textured eyeballs. They're like golf ball eyeballs. That was because at first it looks like when you first see the alien like head on right after she steps on in the head, it's like, are those just a bunch of little stars in its eyes? Does it have like just sparkly glitter eyeballs? No, it's just textures capturing the light. And I thought that was that sort of realization of like, oh, it's kind of magical. Oh, that's actually kind of horrifying to think of someone with like bumpy eyes.
Yeah, and later when they're on the ship, there's like different lighting, so you see their eyes actually do have like irises and stuff underneath it. So it's like it's kind of alien and alien in a distant, not literally alien, but also kind of similar when you see the eyes coming from the back, which is when they're kind of understanding empathy for her. So it's like, oh, like you're choosing these times to show the human side of them, when you need them to have like some kind of empathy. There is a race in Star Wars that has glittery eyes.
Jar Jar Binks?
No, it's in the original. It's the guy that kind of like has like a proboscis and like big huge eyes. Greedo. Oh. The race that Greedo has shiny eyes in the cartoons. So if you need to spend 50 to 70 hours watching some cartoons, you can find that out.
Rodian. He's Rodian.
Rodian, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I guess you kind of, I'm just looking at the one image and I can see the light in his eye is entrancing me. Yeah,
I'm glad I brought that up. That really helped the conversation. Good job, Alex.
No, you're fine. I just got lost in his eyes, and I'm Greedo, looking good, looking like a snack.
Do you think he's a jukebox hero?
Yes, I do.
Because he's got stars in his eyes.
I do. Thank you.
Glad we got that covered.
But this also introduces a couple of things. First of all, I love that they basically lift from pulse one of my favorite horror movies in this, when she's behind the, and I'm sure it's not the only horror movie that's done this, but when she's behind the fridge, hiding from the other alien, and you see like the fingers go over.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Like slowly curl around the fridge before it looks over, and you get the one long Arsenio Hall finger. But just like that, nice. That's one of the scariest things I've ever seen in Pulse. It has a similar sort of thing.
Which one was Pulse?
The Japanese movie about like basically the internet is ghosts are using the internet.
Oh yeah. I knew I saw it. I just did that. The name wasn't. Yeah.
Good. Still very relevant today. This movie makes me afraid of tractor beams. I haven't thought this much about tractor beams since I was like 8, but I love it because like it fires a beam into her house at one point. A couple of different times. One time she dodges, another time like it catches a pot that she's using as a weapon and it just slams it against the wall.
It's really interesting. So there's this this thing in not quantum physics, this thing in regular ass physics with black holes. It's called spaghettification. Do you know that theory?
Mm-mm.
It's not a theory. It's what happens. If you got stuck in a black hole, you'd essentially turn into spaghetti.
Oh, sure.
Because the pull on you, even in the course of like 6 feet, is so drastic. The difference between your feet and your head was that you'd be pulled into strands of spaghetti. I like that this, like the tractor beam kind of works like that, where if like, if you're just on the outside, it's fine. If you're totally inside, you're fine. But if you're halfway between it, no, you're getting smashed like a pan, or that one dude that just got his back like absolutely yoinked.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it's very, very effective.
Well, because it also makes you wonder though, I mean, speaking of like wondering or not having it fully explained, because like it did like affect the pan and it seems like, oh, it's dangerous for her. But that one alien is able to pass through it. And they also use it to beam out the alien that she killed earlier. So it's like, well, what is this something with like their technology or like the makeup of the alien that this beam can recognize?
Yeah.
So it seems like it's the thing where like I don't have an answer, and so I like that because it does seem dangerous. Either way, it's like either you get captured or you get killed, and that's not good.
Yeah, I know it's super effective. I really liked all the transporter effects and the lighting effects that they were doing around it, where like you'd see the light kind of slicing through her storm windows. What do you call those? Storm?
I don't know, the shutters?
Shutters, yeah, storm shutters. It was just really effective use, and like I don't know. But this movie's good, and they do good things. Yeah. Good point, Alex.
Well, get ready. There's a half hour left of this, because that's basically all I have to say. But this is also like, this is where we see the thing that you mentioned earlier, the tall, like the mantis style alien, the big alien. I just love the way that it's not just like, no, it's one of these, but it's bigger, is the way that it operates. Like when it uses its arms to like call the ship and like it bends them into these weird shapes.
Yeah.
Like, again, your mind is just reeling at all the, like how this race works.
You know, I'm glad you pointed that out, because that was one of the I wanted to bring up when I was asking about whether or not they are the aliens or the thing in their throat. Mm-hmm. That was one of the reasons I thought maybe they are the thing in the throat, because like their bodies are all cranked and weird, and like you're snapping noises when it moves. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, is that just like a little like echidna, moving thing? I think I've run out of synonyms, but I'm really proud I came up with echidna.
Echidna was good.
Running the thing as like a meat suit. Yeah.
Knuckles fans are freaking out in the chat. It's great.
Yeah.
No, but that's a good point. When the basement one she meets, when it like stands up, it's all like cracky. And it's like, is that good? My partner will make all kinds of awful noises, like cracking their neck. And it sounds like you should have died. They're like, no, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, have you ever considered that your partner is a space hedgehog that's just piling around a human body?
I'm fine with that.
Oh, I know you'd be fine with that. I was just wondering if you consider it before.
Yeah, no, I have. And that's...
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I went,
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, ever since I told you the dark horrors that exist within me, and you kept me around.
Yeah, you like Doctor Who. I'm well aware.
I can only apologize.
I mean, yeah. So a lot, like we said, a lot of this movie is just Caitlin Dever running away from these things or dealing with these things or fighting them. And yeah, at one point when she's dealing with the giant monster, that the mailman comes back, captures her, is able to get her, and then as Alex referenced, like a ship appears overhead and they try to like beam her up, but she escapes and it hits the mailman guy, hits him in half, and then it like lifts him part way up and then just drops him. They're like, we're done with you.
That was very satisfying.
Yeah, and then like the giant alien at one point like is chasing her and chases her through her car and gets stuck in the car, and she ends up blowing up the car, which was pretty great. Just like, I like the way these things move. I like the way these things interact. And there's a great moment before the mailman dies, actually, when she's running away from the bus. There's this really, really great shot. Like I fucking love this bit where she's running away from the mailman and the camera is like kind of tight on her, but is zooming out from the mailman. But then like it realizes the camera's also moving. Like it's like zoom out dolly thing. That doesn't give like the same effect like, in Jaws where you like zoom in, dolly out, and it's this weird thing. But it had this very, very disorienting effect.
I wish I had caught that. I didn't. And I can only apologize. I probably was taking a note.
I forgive you. So yeah, and then you're starting to get more of an indication that the stuff in the throats are bad news.
Yeah, because the next note I have is she gets the Matrix from the Sentinel from the Matrix into her throat, and she has this weird dream, something hallucination.
And again, like it's fascinating because it's like, how do these things actually work? Because she ends up getting caught in a tractor beam. An alien, and again, like you could have had the alien, rush up or be more forceful in its movements, but the alien, the tractor beam has her like trapped up against her ceiling, and the alien like walks and you see from her point of view, it's like looking up and it just sort of casually jumps up, like barely even. It's just like, whoop. And that's terrifying. And as it floats towards her and ends up coughing up these things that have been living in people's throats. And it's this disgusting, as Alex mentioned, sea urchin thing, just like instead of points, it's tentacles. And I had like the blanket up over my, like most of my face, like, oh, this is just awful
it's really
to watch.
gross. Yeah.
As soon as it enters her mouth, she like wakes up from a dream. But then who's standing at the door? Her dead friend. And she sort of realizes like, wait a minute, this is amazing, but I know this isn't real. And so she says like, I'm sorry, Maud. And then like grabs, like tries to throw up the alien thing, is able to extract it from her mouth.
Yeah.
This gets weird because then like the flying saucer shows up and like, seems like it's just going to beam up the little parasite-y symbiote, whatever guy.
Yeah. Little boy.
But it starts like building a thing around it. And it ends up being a doppelganger of Bryn, which is okay. Like, so now is this like a body snatchers thing? What's happening?
This is where my like face blindness thing came in, where it's just, I couldn't tell that was supposed to be Bryn or her friend. And it was like, whatever. It works either way. But I'm confused by like, oh, look, a 20-something attractive white lady. I don't know. I don't, fine.
You do not matter to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the doppelganger like chases Bryn into the woods and then like stabs her, which I always love. Like the aliens have tried all this stuff. They're like, hey, why don't we just stab her?
Yeah. The
opening to Suspiria, which is a horror movie I love. And
the original or the new one?
I love both of them, but in the original one, there's some horrible monster, horrible demonic force outside of a window that ends up just stabbing a lady. And I like that's just so funny to me.
Yeah, that is funny.
But it does. But then she actually has a weapon as well. Stabs the doppelganger in the neck, kills it. Aliens beam her up. They're like, all right, enough of this shit. I am not 100% about what happens from here on out.
Okay, well let's go kind of as step by step as we can. She gets sucked into the ship, and they kind of go into her memories in the same way that she met her friend. Like maybe there's some kind of like telepathic kind of nice thing happening. But we get to see that she wasn't just responsible for her friend's death. She literally grabbed a rock and smashed her friend's face in.
Yeah, they were having an argument. And I love that because usually so often it's like, well, this wasn't actually your fault. Like this was like this was a drunk driving accident and, or something. Like I find some way to forgive the protagonist.
Yeah.
Or like to make it seem like, well, maybe. But this is straight up like, no, you picked up a rock and clocked her.
Yes.
Which makes her killing the alien at the beginning so much more of a thing because it's the same thing. That I just stabbed you or I hit you upside the head with this thing. And so like killing the alien shook her, not only because she was attacked by an alien and killed her, but like I did it again.
Yeah.
In this exact same way. And so when she's sitting there stunned afterwards, when you see it a second time, that has so much more weight to it, which I thought was pretty brilliant. But yeah, they just don't hold back on that. And I really thought that was a smart move because it makes you understand why everyone in town hates her. And like, are they wrong too? I don't know. Yeah,
it was really nice timing on that because like it's not like we're demanding answers, so it's just I don't know. It was nice that it's like this, like oh now it kind of circles back, but so they kind of learn about her that way, and she's really sorry, of course, and yada yada. They do the vibration throat talk, which is super cool. Every time they spoke or did the chittering, it almost seemed like they were starting to speak in like vowels, like, human vowels. And they didn't quite get there. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Cause like, I don't think I would have liked it if they spoke in kind of English or whatever at some one point, but I liked how it was like, again, they're kind of humanizing them. They're making noises that are a little closer to like what we would understand.
Right. Or like you get the sense when the two are talking over them that they're like, this is sort of an argument of sorts. Like you don't know what they're saying, but you still kind of get that. And I like just having that understanding versus them like subtitling it.
Yeah. So they get in an argument. The aliens get in an argument with each other, and I guess it's decided that they're going to let her go. And they drop her back on the street that she got sucked up on before, and she just starts laughing, which, I mean, fair enough. That's probably got to be a pretty big relief.
Well, she also, in that, like, when they're having that argument, or like right before they have an argument, she basically like encounters a younger version of herself.
Oh, that's
and
right.
It essentially forgives herself, like holds her hand, and like they kind of look at each other and smile. And which is funny because like when I was first watching it, Hulu dropped out that very moment. And then like picked back up when it was like over. Like,
oh, really?
It was just like when they answered, I'm like, wait, what? So I had to go back and rewind it, but it was just perfectly timed. But yeah, so she's like sort of had this inner journey of sorts and is like, you can stop beating yourself up about this. You need to move on, which you could, I mean, whatever. We'll get into that in the end, I guess. But yeah, so they drop her back on the ground. It's morning again. It's daytime, and it's repeating some of the same stuff you've seen before of her like trying to learn to dance. And oh no, she's actually at a dance with all the people that are taken over by the aliens.
Yeah, well, she wakes up and we think the revelation is that this has all been a dream. She wakes up and starts laughing and blah blah blah. We follow her day, and then she leads to a dance, and the dance is all the people in town that have aliens in their throat. And she has a lovely dance scene with them, which is happy and fun. And I don't know what to make of this ending, to be honest with you.
So I was looking it up to see, because I basically just went like, okay, so they, because it pans up. And at one point, like, they're the dancing, like she's dancing with the guy she waved to at the beginning. And then like he starts dancing with another woman and she's happy watching them. And then the camera pans up and, or like she like goes to the, like starts looking directly into the camera and is like smiling. And then the camera like pans up and you see, there's spaceships and stuff coming. And you can tell the people have the aliens in their throats so that it's not a dream. So it's like, did they just leave her? Did they go like, okay, you win. Like, we can let some people hang out with you to study you. Is it something? I read some stupid take on it. They're basically like, they figured out that she's like John Wick, that she's like a natural killer and they respect that. And it's like, come on.
That's the worst take I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Go to hell, Polygon.
Wow, that's really bad.
It was, it was pretty ridiculous. But like, I do like that. I don't really know what entirely happened. I guess more so it's that I'm not entirely sure if what happened is good. Is this a sort of like, oh, turns out, we understand you a little bit more, we can exist peacefully? Or is it like, this is how we're actually going to contain you we figured out how to make your dreams come true, of have people in your town like you, and we can afford to do that because we're going to be having these people do this shit anyway. We'll just leave you alone and that'll pacify you.
Yeah. Or is it like them being ants kind of thing of like, they need to take over, they need to like implant themselves into a different species, but like, they're not vindictive. Yeah. So they're like, hey, you had a kid in your throat for a minute. You're kind of one of us. So yeah, why not? Yeah.
Because I mean, is their pursuit of her a result of, we need to absolutely like destroy and take over everything? Or is it like, well, you killed one of our friends. Like you killed Dave.
Yeah.
That's the only reason like we're so mad about it. Otherwise we just throw up, spit this thing in you and move on.
I think that's probably it. Cause now that makes sense of like, cause they watched her memories of like reacting and killing her best friend, that they're like, oh man, she didn't mean to kill Dave. Like, Dave's probably scary as shit. You ever seen his feet? They're fucked up.
Like he's the only one that is double jointed like that. And he won't stop doing that shit. Yeah. I hate it.
That'd be a funny sci-fi movie thing of like, this like hideous alien is chasing everybody around, and like they finally grab the person, bring them back to the mothership, and everybody there is just like beautiful, normal. But like, oh no, that guy was born with like a really weird like defect. Yeah, I don't know why we send him down, to be honest with you.
He drew the short straw. Hey, rules are rules.
Weird. Yeah, but I can see why you'd be mad. The whole mandibles and acid. Yeah.
But I like that I don't feel like. Not only just that, like, well, okay, so clearly the aliens are still exploring or whatever, and I don't know whether that's good or bad, but just that, like, that feeling of, well, this person's journey is over, and I'm satisfied with that, but I don't necessarily feel like the overarching problem has been solved. You know what I mean? It's like, you take something like Signs, which is like a microcosm of an alien invasion, which I always enjoyed that aspect of it, that, like, here's a big thing and we're just looking at the small element of it. That sounds like, oh, well, we figured out you can use water to kill the aliens. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
but
it's
like
very bad.
at the same, like, so they've killed the aliens, but also at the same time, like, mankind has figured that out, or just they went to a planet that's mostly water and that just happened. It rained. But this, it doesn't matter necessarily. Like there could still be a billion other struggles going on. I don't know, but it's more just that Caitlin Dever's Bryn's journey is done.
But yeah, whether that journey was good or not is the question, because she is loving life around like weird murderous aliens.
Right. And like, but like knowing it's all fake. The people that you're interacting with are alien, are literally alien to you. Like, is it well, I'm going to teach them, human ways and stuff like that? Or is it like, no, they like me and that's all I want. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I just want to be liked.
Which reinforces my whole, I don't trust those people that are like, I only have rotary phones and listen to vinyl. Mm-hmm. I sew my own clothes. Yeah, you're sus. You're suspect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's sort of a weird sort of reactionary thing to it of like, well, the old ways were better. But that being said, the news ways suck. So I can't really come down one way or the other.
I can just I can hate for no good reason.
Oh, sure.
It's what I'm here for.
Yeah. It's in the title of the show.
Yes. John and Alex hate stuff. Anything else on this here film?
No, really impressively made. I'm kind of curious. I mean, this guy has Brian Duffield has made quite a few movies. I've had Love and Monsters recommended to me before. That's one that he did. I have not seen, I think, anything else from him. Like that he's written or directed. So I'm definitely curious to see more, because I really liked this. I thought it was very ingenious and fun.
Yep. Kind of same. Yeah. Liked it a lot. Other than her yawning, I have no complaints.
Hopefully his next movie has either no yawning or improved yawning.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, maybe get some of that like AI yawning in there.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of artificial intelligence, do you have anything to recommend to the audience?
Doing a bunch of horror movie watches for October, and among some of the newer stuff I've watched, I'd recommend Roh, R-O-H. This Malaysian sort of folk horror tale. It's dark and somber. I really was very impressed by it. Creeped me out. Witch stuff. And then, God, that might be it. I don't think I've watched much recently. Oh, and there's a new series of Bake Off, and that's been fun.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I like the new host, and I like that I didn't hate anyone immediately, which is usually a good sign for a season of Bake Off. Usually there's like one guy early on, and I'm like, I just don't like the way that guy looks or something.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah. And there wasn't.
Yeah, don't get, because I haven't watched it yet. I don't want to know. I don't want anything spoiled. Spoiled like a bad cake.
Yeah.
Spoiled.
Spoiled. I hate eating spoiled cake.
I did it. I'm going to recommend to the audience, shockingly not a movie. I've been reading the Cradle books by Will White, Wighd. Yeah, they're super good. There's like fantasy, sort of sci-fi, mostly fantasy stuff. But the first book, at least, the gimmick that separates it from other, like, the chosen one thing, is our lead character. So like they're in a world where like it's kind of like if you ever read like the Bhagavad Gita or the Mahabharata, like where it's like if you have enough spiritual power, you can do like kind of magic-y stuff. It's kind of like meditate enough and you can like shoot swords out of your eyeballs or whatever.
Like the Force.
What's that?
Like the Force.
Yeah, but this is like cooler than the Force. But like the thing is that we follow our lead guy, Lyndon, who his whole thing is that he sucks. Like they call him unsouled because he's so bad at this stuff. Like he can't do any of the magic-y shit. And then we follow his journey into like learning stuff. But it's an interesting kind of the chosen one, but it's the chosen one because you have a complete lack of ability.
Almost like Everything Everywhere All at Once. That whole thing, the whole gimmick of like you're terrible at everything, so you're perfect.
It's actually pretty damn similar. And then as it goes on, it shifts or whatever. But like the guy's a really interesting writer. He takes like it's a lot of tropey stuff, but like the king-like leader, the monarch, came down from his sky cloud, and it's like this really epic thing's about to happen, and then he speaks. It's like, hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? Where it's just like, it's like really like just like you think what's going to happen. It's like, oh no, that's not the character it's expected. It's a really well done. If you're looking for just kind of like popcorn, they're I don't know, maybe 200 pages a piece. Like they're real quick.
Oh well, which actually I have a book to recommend. There's a movie version of it that I think came out this week and apparently is not getting very good reviews. And they already, just like reading about it, they changed a bunch of stuff. It was troubled production. But the movie Dark Harvest by Norman Partridge, it's fun. I want to say maybe it's a YA thing, but it's about like a town where every year on Halloween they keep all the teenage boys in the town of a certain age locked in their individual houses, locked in a room for 5 days, and then on Halloween they're let out and they have to kill the October Boy, who is a sort of sentient scarecrow pumpkin-headed thing.
Oh.
And it's fascinating. Like it took me a little bit to get over, like, because the narration or like the narrator voice is like this kind of casual, like second person kind of thing where it's like, you remember blah blah blah. That I don't. I don't know. I have a hard time sometimes with that kind of stylistic writing. That
I don't like second person overall.
But it gets better. But like the way the story kind of unfolds and the way you kind of learn stuff, I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it. So if you're looking for something kind of fun to read in the Halloween season, check that out.
All right, so John, here's the thing. We need to watch a movie for next time. And the thing about it is I don't really have an idea. Like, there's a couple things I have in mind, like this thing or that thing. So what are you thinking?
I think we should watch Things.
Oh God, I wish we did.
Absolutely not. That thing's terrible. Plus, I don't want too many things. This kind of had a lot going on. I kind of like maybe. I mean, I wouldn't mind sticking with aliens, but I'd like to just focus on one thing.
Oh, so you want like a definite article? Okay. Yeah. So why don't we watch John Carpenter's The Thing?
I'm all for that.
One of the rare cases of the remake is exponentially better than the original.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, movie, because I mean it's based on a story.
Oh, is it? Oh, I just meant that 50s movie, The Thing, that which is it's not bad for a 50s movie, but it's like,
but like he's like
a guy in a
Sasquatch
carrot. Costume.
Yeah, like it's way different.
Yeah. So we're watching John Carpenter's The Thing. It's great. Very, I don't know. It's a classic. You know what it is. And if you don't, then that's weird. Well, I mean, I guess you could be young. Young people might not know that, but it's a great movie. You should watch it.
Absolutely. So we've just completed the second episode, the next episode. That's pretty great.
Well, to be fair, I haven't watched The Thing in probably at least a decade. So my opinion could change.
Yeah.
I doubt it's gonna, but it could change. It's
theoretically
possible.
I think didn't they do a remake in like the mid 2000s and that was also called
that was
The Thing?
A
it was like,
prequel.
yeah, but it was still called The Thing.
Yeah. It was about, I think it was about there's like the Swedish team or whatever in the beginning of I think it's about them.
Yeah, no, it's 2011 is when they made it. Oh, it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in it, and so is Kim Bubs.
Oh, Hera Syndulla herself. Mm-hmm. Isn't that her?
I don't know what you just said.
The green lady from Ahsoka.
Right. Yeah, that's Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Look at me remembering a thing John doesn't.
Yeah.
1 point, Alex. 678. It's whatever.
It all evens out eventually.
Yeah.
Cosmically.
Yeah. I mean, if I keep doing the show after you die, at some point I will catch up on shit I remember.
Just edit together little audio clips of me to make me sound wrong about things.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'll just train an AI model.
Yeah, perfect.
John Myers, but dumber. All right, so we're going to watch The Thing for next time, and we will catch up with you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.